Hey everyone, here are some of the plants that I started while I was on the west coast before I came back to my farmstead here. Over here on the right side though is going to be my bamboo plant that I bought while I was still out there to start establishing in a pot. It's a little worse for the wear. But these things made the trip across the country in the car and I've got to repot them. I need to take a little bit of a break today, so I'm going to be doing that today. So I'm a little bit sad, but like my watercress in there grows in moist soil that dried out in the car. I did not keep up on that one, so I gotta reseed that. That is my scarlet runner bean plant. I've got a lot of perennial vegetables of a broad variety, including some habilicia, perennial spinach, and body, and lemon balms, and all sorts of good things. So I might do some more videos on some of these things later, but kind of one of my big tasks for today is to just get these potted up into bigger pots. I'm not going to actually plant them in the ground until I have a good space prepared for them and until the hot weather of the height of the summer is over with. So, well, I don't know, maybe they'll go in the ground sooner than that if I can put them in a spot that's going to be easy for me to keep watered. But anyways, I just wanted to capture the state of my plants here after the long car ride, as well as about 2 weeks of neglect, because as much as I value these, which I do a great deal, which is why I started them early, I've been really busy trying to make sure that I can get an azuki bean harvest in this year. So anyways, I just wanted to capture this. This is from June 9th, 2023. So it's just after 3:30 in the afternoon now. I've been having quite an adventure repotting this stuff. Is all taking a bit longer than I expected. I did have a nice surprise yesterday in that a neighbor brought me over a cowl or hood for my mower. It's not the right kind, so I'm going to have to get brackets to actually get it to stay up. But that's a project for later. I still have to get this fixed. So I just want to show you a little more with what I have with these plants. Pardon the really old sleeper couch. It was in the house when I bought the house years ago, and it's just time to get rid of it, and this is as far as I've gotten it for now. It's extremely heavy actually. Trying to move that thing by myself was pretty awful, trying to get it out the door and everything. But eventually I'm going to get a U-Haul and load that up, as well as the part of another couch that's in the garage. And then bring those things over to the dump. But here are my plants a little bit more divvied up. I'm not done yet. I am doing the second part of this video and posting it as a way for me to take a break because I have just a little bit left. So some of these are in a sad state after some months. Oh, you can see my big hair bun on top of my head in my shadow. But anyways, over here besides my bamboo, it's a cold hardy bamboo. I've got a really sad giant colewort, but numerous of these in here are giant coleworts, which are also called greater sea kale, and they are a perennial vegetable that can grow like even up to 7 foot tall or so. This one here is a mad dog skullcap, which is an herbal perennial, and it's a medicinal. This is a regular sea kale. Now, one of these leaves broke off while I was replanting one of them, and I ate my first sea kale leaf ever. And I gotta say, you know, the germination rate on the regular sea kale was much lower than on the greater sea kale, the giant colewort, but these leaves are a little bit like succulents, and it just had a nice crunch to it, and it was a good flavor. Now, the giant colewort is a little bit spiny, okay? It reminds me like a little bit of, oh, I got some spittle bug. I gotta deal with this. Gross. But, yeah, I gotta go through all of these and take care of the spittle bug and stuff. But these are a little spinier, so it's more for cooking, I'd say. you know, just braising it on the stovetop or something instead of eating raw. Whereas the regular sea kale is good for raw eating. Now, these, I have numerous of these kind of all over the place. These are my Siam body perennial celeries. Now, these can grow up to about 7 foot tall or so, and supposedly they have a milder flavor than the lovage perennial celery. So I would say that the Siam body is good for broader use in like smoothies or meals where you just want a light celery flavor. I do want to try the lovage to see if it might have a better soup flavor. So over here I have my only rose hyssop that germinated. Then this is a calamintha germander. This is a Dunphy rhubarb. It's looking a little bit sad. Some more Siam body. Now these are good King Henrys. They're kind of bunched in there. I still got to deal with those. I've got some extras here, including some bell peppers, some large orange bell peppers that I planted the seeds for before I left. Now, this is a sad lemon balm, but here's some more of the good King Henrys that are just a larger size. Some sorrel, and then I gotta deal with my scarlet runner beans. Hablitzia, these are in a separate container because I'm going to be giving these away, whereas I have the rest of my Hablitzia back in here, including some of the little baby ones. These are lemon balms, some more Siam body, and then some more Mad Dog Skullcap over there, which this Mad Dog Skullcap actually puts out a lot of little runner shoots, so it should be really easy to divide later, which I'm quite happy with. Now, some of these are really sad, like my horehound and some of the other little ones in there, but these are Toraji balloon flowers. I have some more of those over there. I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with those. These I did not start on the west coast, but these are just from the backyard. It's some horseradish that I'm just going to make sure they're in good shape before I give these away. Kind of keeping everything in a nice shaded area so that they can hopefully do well, because some of these things I've like divided, so I am going to have some losses of a couple of these things. And the horseradish was looking pretty good, but it was in a very grassed over area, so I'm just going to make sure that it's doing good and get some new growth and everything before I give that away. This is not a good time of year to be digging up horseradish to transplant, but it just sort of is what it is. So I've got some more giant core over here, and then this is motherwort, and these are looking kind of sad, and some feverfew, and this is valerian, more Mad Dog Skullcap. This is a senna plant, more calamintha, some catnip. So now I noticed that my watercress does actually have some new growth, so I'm just going to keep watering it even though it's not looking so great. And then here I've got a blue hyssop and some more catnip and some mugwort and some really sad looking salad burnet. Some of these I've divided a little bit more. This one over here is pretty haphazard, but this is also a perennial vegetable, but also a medicinal. Here is a random blood orange that I planted that is probably never going to have good fruit, but I thought it might be a nice house plant. I picked the seed out of a blood orange from the grocery store and decided to plant it. But this one here is oregano vulgare, and then let's see here. This is going to be Greek oregano, thyme, chamomile. It's looking all crazy. I have a lot more seeds left, so some of these I'm just going to be replanting in a more organized fashion. Now this is push caramel. Now I had to cold stratify this for quite a long time, and then some of these other ones like the marshmallow I did also have to cold stratify along with the Hablitzia and the good King Henry. Here's all my different push carmolas that I have so far. Here's some more kind of sad looking marshmallows that I just split off. And then, let's see, some flagpole scallions. Now this other cold hardy bamboo, it was basically, it's never been good. It was basically kind of dead, like a couple of dead twigs when I got it in California, and I emailed the place and let them know, like, you know, I really don't think this plant is going to make it, and I've been trying to see if it will sprout new life, but they do have a return policy, and I did send them the photos of what it looked like when it came in, so that is not very fun, because part of the reason why I ordered two is because the shipping was kind of expensive, so I wanted to make it worth my time with the shipping, but if that was having such a hard time growing over there, I'm really not convinced that it is hardy to the growing zone that they're claiming. So anyways, that is just kind of what I've got going on right now. I do have some more work left to do on this. I started out with 5 bags of potting mix, which are really pricey. I eventually want to be making my own potting mix, but I'm just not quite there yet. And then I want to show you guys a little bit of what happened. So when I first moved here, I just had a gravel road with almost no traffic on it, but because of some severe weather issues and whatnot, some other roads had to be closed down for work. So what they did is they paved my road and they started detouring some traffic down it. So my little no traffic gravel road, I gotta wait for this other car because I gotta show you guys what happens here. My no traffic gravel road has all this crazy traffic on it now. But what we have here is a criminal tragedy that has occurred while I was planting my plants, repotting my plants, because that little splotch in the road is my chipmunk friend that has been living on my property. And he doesn't look even much like a chipmunk anymore because he's been run over so many times in just the past hour. And I'm really disappointed. I just gotta say. Because I was just talking to my chipmunk friend. He was coming to hang out with me while I was potting some stuff up earlier, just watching what was going on. And now he's a splotch on the road. So, it's a violent world out there, everybody. Just a reminder. But anyways, I'm just going to take a break for a little while and post this up. Today, again, is June 9th of 2023, and I do have some potatoes and other things I need to plant, but wow, am I exhausted. So we'll see how these turn out. A lot of these are destined to be mother plants for my nursery, my plant nursery, perennial plant nursery that I'm going to be starting. So we'll see how it goes. Well, you know, I wasn't really expecting to add more to this video from June 9th, 2023, but here we go, because I wasn't sure what was in this box when it came in today, and well, these are some other doodads that came in, but this big box here is going to be a 12.7 foot firewood rack. And I have no idea how the quality is actually going to work out. So this is just kind of an intro to the fact that this is an upcoming project of mine. Because I'm actually going to turn this into like a little bit of a wall, if that makes sense. And this does have a cover on it too, which is this black fabric thing. So I was planning on having to like Rust-Oleum this thing, and maybe I was considering even putting on the liquid rubber, but it seems to have a rather durable finish. So I may just set it up as it is. Part of the reason why I thought about putting like a Rust-Oleum primer on it and the liquid rubber is because the all black is a little bit imposing. I thought about eventually even getting some fabric outdoor paint for this cover that would add some extra UV protection and then not be so imposing in the winter time, because this is going to go off of my outdoor living area. But then I also had some other doodads come in that is going to hopefully help me with my video posting for my Wilderness Farmstead channel and sort of diary. So the first part of this video that I'm posting today, I recorded with an iPad, and frankly, I don't remember exactly what kind because I bought it used online. Because the screen on this tablet that I'm using right now is broken, but it is still an excellent tablet. So the one that I am posting this part of the video from and the second part of the video from is a Samsung Galaxy Tab A7 Lite. And on this tablet, I can fit up to 1 terabyte of extra storage in a micro SD card slot. So I got myself a 1 terabyte. Hi, Josephine. Josephine wants to go back inside. Okay. I got the back door open for her, but you know, she's kind of lazy like I am. But anyways, I just popped in this 1 terabyte card because I had completely run out of space on this tablet to the point where I couldn't even stitch a couple videos together anymore. And then my other doodads that I ordered, because it was taking me about over 4 hours to upload a 11-minute video. Was taking over 4 hours to upload. So I got this little doodad that will hook me up to Ethernet, and then hook into my tablet here, my Samsung, and then it also has these ports that will allow me to hook up my iPad and a wired connection to my Samsung as well as my other devices. And then I got this other doodad that, you know, it's not quite how I wanted it to be, because I was hoping, sorry, I went for the truck to go by. I was hoping that this thing would help me charge my tablet and hook me up to the Ethernet all on one cable. But what it is I have to hook up this end to my tablet, and then I have to hook up a separate charger into this port right here. Look at how nasty my fingernails are. Sorry about that, guys. But hopefully this will help out with my speeds. So we'll see. I've still got a really old wireless router, although I think my internet situation is a little more complicated than that. And while I'm up here, I thought I would just kind of show you this portion of the front deck. There's no gutter, so this whole end part is rotten. This house is over 100 years old, so it does have some issues. And what I'm planning on doing eventually, because if you'll see that it's settled in, so now there's a huge gap from the top cement stair to the patio, and I still have to jack up the front deck a little bit more to level it out. But what I'm going to end up doing eventually, I'm not too worried about it right now, is I'm going to saw off this end of the wood between there, and I'm going to add a second step. So it's going to be a lower level than the rest of the deck, and it's going to be another step. I have a very scary looking front porch, but I don't mind it too much. And before I end this video for today, I just wanted to show you all where I'm going to put that wood rack. And we'll see. You know, I feel like I got it for a pretty good price, but I'm not convinced at how well it's going to work. So it was about $109 on Amazon. It's a 12.7 footer, and it's got that cover, so if it works out, you know, it'll be great. But see, here's my messy stacks, and I don't have real heavy posts. So, you know, eventually those posts will kind of start leaning over, my stuff will fall over. And if you don't want that to happen, you have to kind of like build end caps of cross-stacked wood to help keep your stack together, which, you know, can be kind of time consuming. When I cut a lot of my own firewood from the dead wood, and I'm usually always running late with that. And I'll still be, I cut dead wood all throughout the winter usually is like one of my main winter activities, and then I bring it inside ahead of time to finish drying out real well, pretty like kind of close to the wood stove. So this area here is where that wood rack is gonna go. Now obviously I've got to get in here and cut this really old lilac back so that it'll fit. And even though, you know, it looks all bushy and green right now, in the wintertime, all that greenery is going to be dead. And I've got still more Virginia creeper is just taking over everywhere. And, you know, thank you to the gentleman that left a comment for me reminding me that I really needed to get these vines down off of the house. So obviously I still need to clear some through here, but you know, I've been so focused on trying to get some of my beans in the ground that I was procrastinating, and I did need a little bit of a jab in the ribs to get going on this, but this is just one vine pile from this back corner. I mean, it's pretty huge, and there's some different stuff in there. There's a Virginia creeper and wild grape and one other kind of vine, I believe, that I don't know what it's called, but you know, this Virginia creeper especially is extremely egregious. Now, it's not an entirely worthless vine as far as I know, because I do believe that it has been used as a medicinal for like plague medicine, but it's not necessarily something you want on your property. It drops all these berries that spread everywhere. The salad burnet perennial vegetable that I showed in my video earlier is also supposed to be possibly useful as an herbal against plague. So I would much rather deal with the salad burnet than this crazy vine, because I'll show you what it does. It really gets up under everything. That part didn't come down with it. But here we have where the vine has gone into my siding, and it's all behind up in the wall here, and then it pops out, you know, all the way up here. So this stuff can be pretty awful to have. I still have to go through and, like, this here is a catalpa tree that sprouted from the catalpa in the front yard. I've got to get all these trees away that are by my foundation, and it's all kind of crazy. Sorry, I feel a sneeze coming on. Oh, goodness, sorry. I have to wait for it, but yeah, I didn't get my back siding done here because I just didn't have the money for it at the time, because I was getting the roof done. And, you know, the siding is in pretty rough shape. I was planning on doing this back a little bit different. You know, over here, I do need to put some stuff in between the cracks of that wood. I might just stick some liquid rubber on it for now, and on this door frame, and seal up all around there. I do eventually want to get this back patio light situation worked out. But this siding that I had got put on over my old siding, and on this little bump out here off the back deck, this is actually a small addition that somebody added to the house, and they never put any fabric on it, any protective fabric or any siding or anything. So this was just like OSB or OBS, I forget what it's called. Oh, you know what I mean, the stuff that's even worse than plywood, I feel like, is what was covering this. So I kind of had that issue. And then what had happened is that a couple of these dormers where the siding was rotten, where they met the roof. And so I needed to get, like, a basic requirement to get my roof done properly was just a little bit of siding off of these dormers. But then the issue was that the more affordable roofing company that I had found has a $2,000 siding minimum. So just to put on just a little bit of tiny siding over there was going to cost me $2,000. Otherwise, it was going to cost me like $5,000 more to go with somebody else for my roof, because there was a huge discrepancy in the prices. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get these other sides done. And I did make a mistake. That roof, I looked at the color in my dark kitchen when the gentleman came to ask me what color I wanted, and it looked way darker than it really is. So that roof was supposed to be just a touch lighter than black. So eventually it's gonna get a metal roof on it, but right now it's super ugly. You know, these bricks used to just be straight up red. The grout and everything had been stained red, so it was just red, red, red all along the bricks, and then the white siding. And I started a project of putting on a lime wash and then going through and staining the bricks, which I totally didn't finish on this side. I'm gonna end up redoing all the brick on the house at some point. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it, but I feel like I did a slightly better job up here. But even then, the lime wash, I wish I would have done tinted it a little bit so that it wasn't white. But I'm gonna end up redoing all of that eventually. And then you can see where, from the lack of gutter and the beating rain, a little bit, some of the lime wash has come off. And it's funny because right there you can actually now see the grout in between the red brick, but they had stained all of the grout and everything, and I didn't like the way it looked. You know, now it's like unfinished because we had that detour get routed down our road, and I went from being able to work outside in peace to all of a sudden having crazy traffic and all these looky-loos like watching me like as they would drive by when I was trying to be outside working on my house, and I felt uncomfortable. And so I didn't finish, and now it's just a mess. But I did at least want to capture that because it's going to be changing quite a bit. I think the cement part on the bottom, kind of where the basement is, I think I might eventually stain that concrete, those concrete blocks, to make them quite a bit darker. And I might eventually do my trim in brown, but you know, I'm just like, I'm kind of limited on what I have the resources, both financially and energetically right now. So I don't know, this is just my plant video today has turned into meander, but it just sort of is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video now. Again, today is June 9th of 2023.